Hey, American Contractors, viewers of the American Contractors Show. I'm here with John Dye at Win the Storm, and I have to tell you, anyone that is associated with American Contractors Show, you are a badass.
Big shout out to American Contractor Show. If you don't know, you definitely need to check out the Storm Summit. They're doing it in excellence. Check them out.
Hey, what's up? This is your friend, Francisco Serrano. If you haven't checked it out, American Contractor Show, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, you need to go them, like them, start learning about your craft.
Hey, I'm Matt Danskin with Restoration Referral System. Check out the American Contractor Show. The truck that they've got is awesome. Everything else that they have going on.
This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
C3 was eager to help us, and even whenever we weren't giving them work, they were still eager to give advice. The things that they were putting out for the for changing from DMO to RFG and giving that to the industry and not charging anything for it, I thought was really cool. And that's stuff that I as a contractor appreciate. I'd recommend C3 to any contractor who's looking for a PA, especially if you're around Colorado. Great guys, man. I'm nothing but happy with the work they've done for us.
What's up, everybody? Good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, and American Contractor. You guys can go ahead and check them out in the link to this video. So for today, we've got our risk shifting southward into the Ohio River Valley, so all the way from St. Louis into the northeast. We've got a hail and wind risk for you guys. And then tomorrow, we're still going to have a wind risk out for the same area, but Denver and Cheyenne, Wyoming are going to jump in on the hail action. Could possibly see some severe storms moving out there as well, so we're going to talk about that. And then finally, as always, a check-in on our tropics. We've got now tropical disturbance Fred moving up into the Gulf of Mexico and another disturbance right behind it. So we're going to take a look at those. But first, let's get into our upcoming events. So this one is ongoing, the IRE. We are at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. So you guys can go ahead and check us out there. We will be there until tomorrow, August 12th. And so we will be at booth 3355. You guys can come check us out. You'll see the truck and you can talk to us about some weather and about roofing and whatever else comes to mind. So make sure to get out there to Vegas at the Mandalay Bay Convention Center for the IRE. And then after that, we are going to be in Norman, Oklahoma, right down the street from the Hale Palace at the Oklahoma Motorsports Complex. This is on September 15th, and it's for the Thunder Road Race for Recovery. This is an event that is being put on by Hail Trace, and 100% of the proceeds are going to an awesome charity, Roofers in Recovery. So you guys can be a part of that if you want to race some go-karts and have that go to a good cause. You can also sign up to sponsor the event. So racing or sponsoring, you guys can do in the link provided in this video as well. It's the Linktree link attached. Now that we have our upcoming events covered, let's go into yesterday's storm reports. So not a ton happened out west, but once you get out east, we had quite an active day, especially through the Midwest and Ohio Valley. We had over 600 wind reports from yesterday. So quite a busy day all the way through the East Coast and the Midwest. Let's hop in here. So through all the way from Georgia, the northern part of Georgia, we had a couple of scattered severe hail reports, as well as mostly wind reports moving all the way up into Maryland here. We saw a ton of wind moving through that area, lots of severe activity moving through there. And then most notably, all the way from Wisconsin down into Michigan, into Indiana, Ohio, a ton of wind. Fort Wayne got hit. We had a hit in Detroit. We also had tornadoes moving through the western part of Wisconsin yesterday evening, so a very busy day for wind through this area. We actually did get a 3-star wind map out of this event that moved through the Midwest and Ohio Valley last night. So then into today, that's going to continue to push southward into the Ohio Valley, and we could see another wind event coming up in the next coming hours. So from yesterday, out of that all, 4 tornado reports moved through. We got 8 large hail reports, and those were severe hail reports. We got a lot of hail reports, but only 8 severe. And then 615 high wind reports, and still counting right now. So at the last update, over 600 high wind reports. So crazy amount of wind happened yesterday, a very significant event. And that brings our totals to 781 for tornadoes, 4,467 large hail reports for the year, so still a little bit below average, maybe a lot of bit below average. Still waiting for those numbers to come on up, but we're at 12,810 high wind reports thanks to the severe weather that moved through yesterday. Still not going to touch 2020. We actually had the anniversary of the August 10th derecho a couple of days ago, so obviously these numbers are going to be way higher for 2020 on wind. Same with hail. It was just more activity last year, and same with tornadoes, so still behind 2020, but what can you do, you know? We got 600 wind reports yesterday, so we're just going to appreciate that we're getting some severe weather still in the end of August. So now into today, here's what we're looking at. So we've seen this trough. We want to zoom in a little bit here because we got this low pressure system up in Canada right now, and that's bringing this cold front through the Midwest. That's what's been driving our storms for the last couple of days here. And that's still going to linger through Wisconsin, through Michigan area. This is by 6 p.m. this evening. This is where this cold front's going to be setting up all the way through Kansas. And now again, this isn't going to feel like a cold front. It's more of a cooler front. It's going to be like 80s and 90s behind it, but we'll take it because it has been oppressively hot and muggy. And that temperature difference behind and in front of the cold front is what's driving those storms through this area into the next coming days. So that's going to continue to slowly linger through the area over the next 24 hours. As it pushes east, we could continue to see some storm activity along and ahead of that cold front into the next day or so. Then for our temperatures, you can't really see any crazy temperature shift in our current conditions. Sunny and dry across the western and central U.S., and then moving on into our risk area for today. We've already got some storms ongoing through Iowa as well as Illinois and just into Indiana. These are going to continue to move through the early morning hours. And then we've got a band of storms that's going to start setting up into this afternoon, and that will also produce a wind threat. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in that area right now. Getting ready to produce some winds as that drives through Pennsylvania and New York. And as that continues to develop, as we continue to get that daytime surface heating, those storms are going to develop ahead of that cold front, producing some severe wind as well as some hail here and there. Then for the rest of us, just sunny and dry across most of the nation. We're sitting in the 90s in Dallas, 92 in Dallas and Houston, 91 in Kansas City, still the 90s in Oklahoma here. And it's only noon, guys. I'm ready for this hot air to move out of the way. 80 degrees in Denver and 80 degrees across a lot of the east as well. So 80s and 90s for most of us, hot, muggy, and humid once you get east of that front range. Then for our instability, once you get that heat, once you get that humidity, you start to get some instability, and then when that cold front pushes through, that's what really starts to trigger those storms to form. So right here where we have that cold front in that hot, unstable environment, we're starting to get those high CAPE values as well, and this is where those storms are going to start to form by 5 p.m. today. And then again, as always, as those storms form, you start to see that CAPE values, those CAPE values decreasing a little bit as those move forward, but we do have that band all the way from Missouri up into Michigan, and that's going to continue to track southward as the night goes forward. And as that happens, again, we will start to see some severe weather developing through that area. So we've got those storms initially moving through Iowa, Indiana, and Illinois right now, and those are going to start to fizzle out a little bit into later this evening. They're going to move through the early afternoon hours, but once we get past those hours and into the early evening, we're going to start to see these isolated storms developing through the eastern part of Iowa. And with those, we could see a brief chance for some hail as those move southward. Then we're going to start to get some clusters of storms moving through northern Missouri. Those are mostly going to produce severe winds. However, we could get a marginally severe hailstone or two with them as they continue to track southward. And then those are going to continue to kind of blow up throughout the night into this chain of storms all the way from Nebraska into Michigan here. Again, mostly wind with that, but we could get a severe hailstone or two as those continue tracking southeastward along with those high CAPE values. Then for our New England and Northeast risk, So we have that band of storms, that severe thunderstorm warning that's ongoing right now. That's going to kind of continue into the afternoon. We're going to have this area just east of Cleveland, and that's what we're watching most closely right now. So this is by 5 p.m. just east of Cleveland. We'll start to see these storms tracking eastward, possibly producing some severe wind as that pushes that way. So you can see that here on our radar. Banding up into that line of storms doesn't look too mean here on radar. However, we get that bow echo right here, that bow on radar, and that just means that wind is right behind it driving it forward. So when we get that curved shape, that means that there's a lot of strong winds behind those storms on radar. So these are all likely to do some strong winds later this afternoon into this evening. And then those are going to continue to push through into the overnight hours and off the coast later on. So for hail, not a ton of hail expected today, mostly going to be a wind risk. However, this whole area is in the chance to see quarters to half dollars. So if you guys are in Kansas City, it could hit you with a quarter or two. If you guys are in Davenport, you guys probably have the highest chance of seeing some hail into this afternoon with those isolated supercells moving through eastern Iowa. That's going to be quick. They're going to band up like they have over the past couple of days. So probably just quarter to half dollar for you guys through that area. Could see something bigger, but again, it's going to be very quick when that happens. Then all the way into Indianapolis, you guys could also see quarter to half dollar sized hail. Moving on east, if you guys are in Pittsburgh, Rochester, if you guys are in Scranton area, that all also has a low end chance of seeing quarter to half dollar sized hail with some of those storms that really get ramped up into this afternoon. Then for wind, that's going to be, again, mostly the same risk area through all the way from Kansas up into New England here. However, we do have some higher chances of seeing severe wind into this evening. So Kansas City, you guys are in a moderate chance of seeing some gusty winds with those storms moving through. Des Moines, you're on the lower end because it's probably just gonna stay south of you guys. It's gonna develop through this area. Then if you guys are in Chicago, again, those storms are likely going to stay mostly to your south, so I don't think they're gonna get ramped up enough to really hit you with severe winds. So low end chance for you guys, same with Cincinnati. But then once we move over into our eastward risk, if you guys are in Pittsburgh, if you guys are in Rochester, basically anywhere ahead of that cell we're seeing moving out of Cleveland by around 5, that's going to band up quick, could hit you with some strong gusts later this afternoon before tapering off right before it gets into the New York area. So looking like mostly a wind risk again today. We could get some marginally severe hail here or there though, so still a chance for that. And then into tomorrow. So the Ohio River Valley is going to be again in a wind risk for tomorrow, but for hail, we're looking at our chances mostly through the Cheyenne and Denver corridor all the way into the far western part of Nebraska here. So it'll be a quiet start to the morning, and then as that daytime heating occurs and starts to get the environment into a little bit more of an unstable place, we start to get these isolated storms moving just east of Denver. Those are going to roll off, or just west of Denver. Those are going to roll off the mountains, just west again of Cheyenne, doing the same thing. And as those continue, we could see a couple of those get a little bit more ramped up as they move out of the area. Will they be strong enough to hit Denver with severe hail? We'll have to stay tuned and see what these forecast models continue to show us over the next 24 hours here. But right now, it's looking like these storms will start to ramp up as they move over Denver, start to produce some quarter to half dollar sized hail as they move out of the area. And then we're going to have a lot of messy storms moving through the western Nebraska corridor into tomorrow evening and through the overnight hours. So that's what this is going to look like here on our hail forecast graphic. So we've got our quarter to half dollar size swath right in that area where you see all those storms forming off the mountains, pushing eastward into western Nebraska. That's where we're going to see our chance for hail into tomorrow afternoon. So if you guys are in Cheyenne, you're likely to see some severe hail, likelier to see some severe hail, still on the low end chance with that. Denver, you're on the very outskirts, just because we're waiting to see if those are going to ramp up as they move over Denver into tomorrow. So that's what we got for our hail chances into tomorrow evening. So you guys definitely want to stay tuned to tomorrow's forecast video as we update you on our hail chances through the Front Range area. And then last but not least, for all of you guys who are hurricane enthusiasts, that's what we got going on right now. So next 2 days, this has a 30% chance of formation into a tropical depression, 60% chance over the next 5 days. You guys have seen the conditions just north of the Windward Islands. We get those nice warm 80-degree waters, and that's what these tropical systems need to develop. So if this continues to track west-northwestward over that area, it's likelier to develop into a depression over the next 5 days as it moves into that area. So we've got Fred that's already getting ready to move up into the Gulf today, and then we've got this disturbance right behind it that we are keeping a close eye on. Speaking of Fred, let's take a look here. So it did drop down to a tropical depression today. However, we knew that was going to happen. We talked about it. We're going to see that continue to strengthen back up once it moves into that warm Gulf water. Right now it's over land, doesn't like land if it needs to intensify. So as it moves up over those warm Gulf waters and into the Florida Keys area, we're going to start to see that ramp back up into a tropical storm. 40-mile-an-hour winds likely, and that is going to be by Friday evening into Saturday morning. Then as that continues to move up through the Gulf, we're going to start to see it ramp up again in those warm Gulf waters. We're sitting just shy of 90 degrees, and that's what it really likes. Not a ton of wind shear through this area. So that's what this tropical system needs to develop. However, it's moving so fast, will it have time to develop into a hurricane? That's not likely. We're going to see it stay just shy of hurricane force winds, 60 miles per hour by Monday morning as it moves over the Florida Panhandle. So still nothing to be alarmed about in terms of hurricanes. However, we do want to keep our eye on this once again. And if you guys are in the Florida Panhandle or in the western part of Florida, this is definitely something that you want to stay tuned for because you're likely to get some strong winds as well as potential flooding issues. So we want to watch Fred as it continues to move into the Gulf. And as always, we will keep you updated on that. We'll let you know what happens with our tropical systems as well as our severe hail and wind chances over the coming days. If you guys want to follow us, you can do that on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure to hit see first on Facebook so you never miss a live video. And then if you guys want to get in contact with us, you can call us at 855-334-4245. You can also email us if you would rather at info@hailtrace.com or check out our website, hailtrace.com, for more details. And we will always keep you guys advised for your severe hail and wind chances as well as tropicals. But for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.